Today we're going to be working with word problems that can still be solved using the Pythagorean theorem and just adding an extra step to it. So the sizes of a computer and TV are advertised by the length of its diagonal. Below is a 43-inch LG TV. If the height of the TV is 21 inches, what is its width to the nearest tenth? Now, on your paper, go ahead and draw a rectangle to represent the TV, just like you see here. Now, it said that it's a 43-inch TV. Like it says, when it advertises the size of a computer, it's measuring the diagonal. So the 43 is the diagonal from TV to one corner to its opposite corner. So this is where I'm going to label my 43. The height is 21. So the height is going to go here because that's up and down. And I'm looking for the width. So since this is a rectangle, it forms a right angle. So really, I have a right triangle since I have its diagonal. So I can use Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, to find my missing width. Now let's figure out what letters I'm given. The 21 I can plug in for A because that is one of my legs. It helps form the right angle. I'm also given the number across from my right angle, which is my hypotenuse. So that's going to get plugged in for C. I'm looking for my width, which means I'm looking for a leg, which means I'm looking for B squared. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start to solve. The first thing I need to do is 21 squared, which is 400. 41. Leave my plus b squared, and 43 squared is 1,849. Now I need to get b by itself, so I first need to subtract 441 from both sides. So I get b squared equals 1,408. And then the last step to get rid of that exponent, I do the opposite of squaring something, which is to take the square root. Come over here. And when I take the square root, I get 37.52. But it says to the nearest tenth, so I'm looking for just one number after my decimal. So I need to look at this second and ask myself, does the 2 make a 5 bump up or stay the same? And it's going to make it stay the same. So the width of my TV is going to be approximately 37.5 inches. Okay, so this second problem. A grassy section in the center area of an apartment complex is shown below. How many square feet of space is this area? So when I read this problem, I see two things that really stick out. It's asking for how many square feet of space. This square feet should be a signal for you. If it's asking for square feet of something, anything in square units is area. And I also see the word right here, in this area. So I'm looking for all of this grass, how much space this grass takes up. I see that this is within a triangular section. Okay, so I need to first go ahead right now. We're going to draw the grassy section, the triangle, on our paper and label it. So the length of this section, this area, is 12 feet, and this diagonal is 15 feet. I do not have the other side. So now I need to ask myself, how do I find the area of a triangle? So the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. You can also find it by doing base times height divided by 2. Multiplying by 1/2 and dividing by 2 are the same thing. The base and the height of a triangle always form a right angle, which means, all right, I've got my base right here. I need the height. So the 15 I am not using to find my area. Just because they give us these two numbers doesn't mean I use them for my area. I need to find this side. Well, since I have a right angle, so I have a right triangle, I can use Pythagorean theorem to find this missing side, this leg. Okay, the 12 is a leg, so I'm going to plug that in for a squared. Plus, now, the 15 is the line across from my right angle, which means the 15 needs to be plugged in for C. So I'm going to be looking for B. I'm going to be looking for one of the legs. So 12 squared is 144 plus B squared, and 15 squared is 225. I need to subtract 144 from both sides, and I get B squared equals, when I subtract, I get 81. To get B by itself, I do the opposite of squaring, which is to take the square root. In the opposite, or the square root of 81 is a whole number, it's 9, because 9 times 9 gives me 81. So the height, or this side of this grassy section, is 9 feet. Now I have enough information to solve for my area. So the area is going to be 1/2 times the base, which is 12, times the height we just found was 9. So 1/2 times 12, half of 12 is 6, times 9. So my area, 6 times 9, is 54 square feet, or feet squared. Now, if you did it and used the other formula, you would still get the same thing. You would do base times height, so you would do 12 times 9 divided by 2. 12 times 9 is 108, and when I divide that by 2, I get 54. So either formula is correct. So you have to remember the base and the height of a triangle always form the right angle. So you have to make sure that the two numbers are the base and the height. If they're not, if you're given your hypotenuse, your C, like this problem, you have to first find the other leg before you can solve for the area. All right, Ray built a triangular pool in his backyard. He has to install stone around the pool. How many meters of stone will he need? So yeah, it's kind of weird to have a triangular pool. One of the things I see that is really important, because I'm looking for how many meters of stone will he need. Well, where is he putting the stone? He's putting it around the pool. So I need to think he's putting stones along this entire triangular pool. I'm not looking for inside the pool now, the water. I'm looking for around. So that tells me that I need to find the perimeter of this triangle, which means I need to add up all 3 sides. Well, great, I have 2, but I need to find this third side. It shows me that I have a right triangle. So since I have a right triangle and I'm missing a side, I can use my Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Identify the 2 sides that you're given. I'm given the 6 and I'm given the 8. These 2 form the right angle, which means these 2 are the legs. So I'm plugging them in for A, 6 squared, and B, 8 squared. I am missing the line, the side across from my right angle, so I'm missing my hypotenuse, which is my C. So I'm going to just solve on this left side. 6 squared is 36, plus 8 squared is 64, and that's going to give me C squared. So when I add 36 plus 64, gives me 100. Take the square root of 100, and the square root of 100 is 10, because 10 times 10 gives me 100. So 10 meters is that other side of my triangle. So now since I have all three sides, I can just add up 10 plus 6 plus 8, and that gives me 24 meters. So he needs 24 meters of stone to put around his pool. So we have to pick out keywords to figure out, is it asking for just one side? Is it asking for the area, so the inside, square units, or is it asking for around, which is our perimeter? Okay, Jamal is at a soccer practice and starts at one of the corners of the field. He runs 90 meters north and then 120 meters east. If he then takes the shortest route back to where he started, how many meters will he have run in total? We are looking in total. That means I'm not just going to be looking for one side. So on your paper right now, go ahead and draw your soccer field. So just draw a rectangle. The first thing he did was run north. So that means I'm going up and down. And then he runs east. East means to the right. So remember, it's north, south, east, and west. So this 90 is going to be here. He's going to start at this corner and he goes north. Then he goes 120 meters east to the other corner. He then takes the shortest route back. So the shortest route would be this diagonal, to go right from where he is to run straight from corner to corner diagonally. I want to know how much he's run in total. So that means I need to add up this line, and his last cross through, which means I'm finding perimeter, which means first I need to find this side of this triangle, which is my hypotenuse, because it's crossed from that right angle. I know it's a right angle because it's a rectangle and rectangles have right angles. So 90 and 120 are my legs since they form my right angle. So it's going to be 90 squared plus 120 squared equals c squared. So 90 squared is 8,100. 12 squared is 14,400. Again, and that all equals c squared. So I get 22,500 equals c squared. When I take the square root, my c comes out to be 150. So he runs 150 meters back to his original starting point. That's going to be shorter than going all the way back across and all the way down. I want the total distance he runs. So first he runs 90 north, then add to that 120 east, then add 150 back to his starting point, and I get 360 meters he's run in total. Okay, last one. Pause this and try this one on your own. Okay, so I have this triangular space for his dog. I want to know the total amount of space he has to run around in. This one is tricky because yes, I see the word around, but he's running around this whole space. Is he just running around the outside? No, he gets to run around this entire space. So that means I really need to find the area. I'm looking for the inside of this triangular space. So I need to find my area, which is 1/2 base times height, which I need the base and the height. Well, here's my right angle. I'm given this base of 12. I do not have the height. The 19 is not the height. So that means I need to find what my height is. If you found the perimeter, or if you used the 19 and you didn't find this side, make sure you make any corrections. So the 12 is going to go in for A since it's A, one of the legs. I don't know that other leg. And the 19 is going to go in for C because it's the line across from my right angle. So 12 squared is 144. 19 squared is 361. Subtract 144 from both sides. Get B squared equals 217. Take the square root, and B equals 14.7. Now it's asking me to do the whole numbers, so I'm just going to approximate. The 7 is going to make the 4 bump up, so I'm going to approximate that this is going to be 15. So now I can plug it into my formula. Area equals 1/2 times the base is 12 times 15. So 1/2 times 12 is 6. 6 times 15 is 90. So the dog has 90 square yards, 90 yards squared of space to run around. So make sure not only that you pick out keywords, but you think realistically in real life what that would look like or mean. Again, the dog is not just going to run around the outside. He's going to run around this whole entire space inside. That is why it's area.